Have you ever wondered what lies hidden in the 95% of the Amazon rainforest that we've never explored? What if some animals we think are extinct are actually still living there? Here are 7 extinct animals that might still be found in the Amazon. Number 8. Smilodon, the dagger-toothed phantom. In 1842, a Danish naturalist unearthed a skull from a Brazilian cave. The canines were 28 centimeters long. He thought he had found a dragon. It was Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat. This enormous predatory dinosaur was the crown jewel of South America's Pleistocene megafauna. It weighed up to 408 kilograms. Smilodon populator. It was significantly more massive than any modern Siberian tiger. Yet its anatomy held a bizarre secret. Scientifically speaking, its bite was weaker than that of an ordinary house cat. The Smilodon didn't rely on jaw strength. It killed its prey with pure, raw neck power. It pinned its prey to the ground with its massive forelegs and drove its 2 sharp teeth directly into the soft tissue of the throat with the force of its entire upper body. Scientists say the Smilodon went extinct 10,000 years ago with climate change and the disappearance of its enormous prey. But deep in the Amazon, where the canopy is so dense the sun never reaches the forest floor, another story persists. The Machua people of Peru describe a massive jungle cat with teeth like curved knives. They call it the striped beast of the river caves. In 2001, Dr. Peter Hawking documented reports near Manu National Park that matched no known living species. Hunters reported seeing glowing eyes at cave entrances in the twilight. The teeth were always the most striking detail, long, curved, unmistakable. With over 80% of Amazonian species still unclassified and thousands of square kilometers never explored on foot, one has to wonder, if such a powerful predator found prey deep in the jungle, why would it ever need the open plains? Perhaps the Smilodon didn't disappear. Perhaps it simply went unseen. Number 7. Titanoboa, the dagger-toothed phantom. In 2009, miners in Colombia broke open a rock. Inside was a bone the size of a dinner plate. It came from the Titanoboa, a 12.8-meter-long snake that weighed more than a car. The Titanoboa was the undisputed ruler of the post-dinosaur era. 60 million years ago, it dominated the sweltering swamps and crushed crocodiles as if they were made of dry wood. Mainstream science claims that these cold-blooded giants went extinct when the Earth cooled after the Paleocene because they required extreme heat to maintain their enormous metabolism. But one thing is often overlooked. The Amazon is hotter today than it has been for centuries. Temperatures in the deep jungle increasingly resemble the climate of the time when the Titanoboa lived. One scientist even asked aloud, could the rising heat bring back the perfect habitat for a giant snake? The tribes along the Rio Negro tell stories of the Yakumama, the mother of the water. They describe a snake so large that it created new river channels as it crossed the flooded forest. Researchers have discovered vast, straight paths of fallen trees in the jungle, patterns that no storm or landslide could have created. If the Titanoboa survived anywhere, it was in these unexplored, seething swamps, where it waded in the dark, warm water for prey, large enough to satisfy its ancient hunger. Number 6. The terror bird, nature's axe. In 2016, a park ranger in Brazil made a strange discovery. Enormous 2-legged footprints nearly 30 centimeters long, etched deep into the river mud. No bird alive today leaves such tracks. Yet 60 million years ago, terror birds ruled South America. Standing nearly 3 meters tall with heads larger than a horse's, these flightless giants were the apex predators of their time. Their hooked beaks resembled biological axes and could shatter bones with a single blow. They reached speeds of up to 48 kilometers per hour, faster than any human on Earth. According to official records, the last specimens died out 2 million years ago due to competition and climate change. Yet the Amazon still harbors much of our planet's unexplored biology. Local hunters speak of a striker, a giant bird that, while flightless, moves silently through the dense undergrowth. An ornithologist who spent decades in the most remote regions of Brazil returned convinced that a large, flightless bird species still exists in the green depths. The footprints found in 2016 remained unexplained. Whatever left them weighed over 90 kilograms and moved with a gait indicative of a predator. Like a ghost in feathers, it seems to know exactly how to vanish before the cameras arrive. Number 5. Purosaurus. The bus-sized caiman Purosaurus was a giant caiman that lived in South America about 8 million years ago. Its head alone was 1.5 meters long, as big as a fully grown caiman is today. The animal reached a length of 12 to 15 meters and weighed over 8 tons, making it heavier than a modern school bus. Its bite force was reportedly stronger than that of a Tyrannosaurus rex. It not only fed on fish, but also hunted giant sloths and river dolphins. Scientists suspect that the caiman became extinct with the rise of the Andes, as this altered the river's course and dried up the vast wetlands. Yet, in the Amazon, the so-called Várzea forests still exist, enormous floodplains older than humankind. The inhabitants of the deep interior speak of a grandfather caiman, an animal whose back resembles a moss-covered island. While black caimans today reach lengths of up to 6 meters, the locals are convinced that a much larger creature rules the depths of uncharted lakes. In water so murky that only sonar is visible, a 12-meter-long bird of prey could live for centuries without ever being filmed. Number 4. Macrauchenia, the three-toed mystery. Macrauchenia was a bizarre animal that lived in South America for 7 million years. It resembled a camel with a giraffe's neck, rhinoceros feet, and a short trunk between its eyes. It was extremely agile and, despite weighing about as much as a small car, could evade predators at high speed. It is believed to have become extinct 10,000 years ago. But in the Chiribicate Mountains of Colombia, scientists recently discovered rock paintings over 12,000 years old. The depictions are so precise that they perfectly show the creature's 3 toes and trunk. These early humans drew what they saw with their own eyes. Even more astonishing is a DNA study from 2025 on a relative called Xenorhinotherium. It has been proven that it still lived in Brazil 4,000 years ago, long after it was considered extinct. In a forest where visibility is often less than 2 meters, a shy-trunked herbivore could easily survive in small populations, far from the chainsaws and cities of the modern world. Number 3. Glyptodon, the living fortress. The Glyptodon was a giant armadillo about the size of a VW Beetle whose body was covered by a massive bony plate. It lived for millions of years until it disappeared. But the disappearance of the Glyptodon makes little sense. The vegetation it fed on and the rivers it drank from still exist today. Over 400 indigenous tribes in the Amazon basin report sightings of a creature with skin so tough that no weapon can penetrate it. In the 1930s, rubber tappers claimed to have seen a headless turtle the size of a cow crawling through the mud. By the 1970s, researcher Ivan Sanderson had compiled consistent accounts of armored, plate-like beasts lurking in the deepest swamps. These tribes, thousands of kilometers apart and speaking different languages, all describe the same eerie details. The Amazon River spans more than 5 million square kilometers, a slow-moving, armored carapace that, when stationary, resembles a boulder, could be the most successful extinct animal in history. Number 2. Megatherium, the legend of Mapinguari. Megatherium, the colossal monster, was a giant sloth the size of an elephant. Standing upright on its hind legs, it reached a height of over 6 meters and weighed 4 tons. It was a living bulldozer with 30-centimeter-long claws capable of uprooting entire trees. Although it supposedly became extinct 12,000 years ago, the legend of Mapinguari is the most famous cryptozoological tale in South America. Indigenous peoples describe a gigantic, red-furred monster that walks upright and emits a stench so revolting it can knock a man unconscious. In 1993, zoologist David Oren collected over 100 eyewitness accounts. Every detail fits Megatherium. The red fur, confirmed by mummified skin, the backward-running tracks, caused by sloths which walk on the sides of their feet due to their long claws, and the scent glands used to mark its territory. Oren couldn't prove it, but he couldn't disprove it either. If the Amazon harbors unexplored rivers, it almost certainly harbors a 4-ton specter with a stench that keeps humans away. Number 1. The Black Guardian, the prehistoric dolphin. While the pink river dolphin is known worldwide, reports are increasing of another creature lurking in the blackwater rivers of the Amazon. These rivers are so saturated with tannins that they look like dark tea, and underwater visibility is zero. Local fishermen speak of the Boto Negro, not the common little Tucuxi, but a gigantic primeval species of dolphin. This creature corresponds to the description of a descendant of Ishurhinquus, prehistoric river dolphin, far more robust and better protected than modern species. It possesses a much longer snout studded with needle-like teeth and skin that feels more like that of a reptile than a mammal. This black sentinel is said to be a silent hunter, avoiding the playful behavior of its pink-colored relatives. In an environment where eyesight is useless and sonar serves its primary function, this prehistoric survivor would be virtually invisible to modern science. It lives in the Igapo, flooded forests, where no boat can navigate, and surfaces only for a brief moment in the dead of night. It is the river's greatest mystery, a primeval survivor that, from the safety of its pitch-black waters, has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations.